Hello and welcome to the Wedding Guide podcast. I'm your host, Pete the Celebrant, and we are proudly sponsored by Easy Weddings. Easy Weddings help thousands of couples nail their big day every year. With their award-winning directory and mobile apps, you can find and book top-rated wedding suppliers. You can stay on track with their planning tools, or for a more hands-off approach, work with a wedding planner to save you time and money. Best thing, it's free. Jump on to easyweddings.com.au to start your stress-free journey up the aisle today. Joining us for the episode is Jessie Newell, the event coordinator at Victoria Parks in Queensland. Jessie shares with us how she and her team have been helping couples celebrate their wedding amongst COVID guidelines in Queensland. Then we discuss why couples choose Victoria Parks as a wedding venue. Allow me to introduce you to the very wedding knowledgeable Jessie Newell. Well, hello and welcome to another episode. And we have with us Jessie Newell, all the way from Vic Parks in Queensland. Jessie, how are you doing?
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm doing so well. It's, a tough life up here with views like this and weather like this every day. But thank you for having me.
Yes, look, down in Victoria, we do enjoy the four seasons in one day, but I guess having sun all year round that must be nice. Must be nice.
It is beautiful. It is beautiful.
That is a beautiful view. And behind you that's a wedding arbor, so people can have this view for their wedding.
It sure is. So this is our beautiful courtyard. It's picture perfect every day, as you can see. We usually would set it up with some beautiful bent wood chairs, and then you add your personal touch to the arbor.
It's great. Looks incredible. How many can that fit in that area?
So we usually do seating for 50, and then we have up to 120 people out here for wedding ceremonies themselves. But we have 5 venues on site that we can do wedding ceremonies and receptions. So there's plenty of other facilities that we can help as well.
Yeah, looks great. Well, thank you for coming on the episode, Jessie. And I chatted with Annie Molnar last episode, because trying to make sure that couples who are entering into possible COVID restrictions with their weddings, we want to make sure that they feel comfortable and have an idea of what to expect when going into a venue or dealing with some of their suppliers. And so it's great to talk with you, because you do, I think you mentioned, over 140 weddings a year.
Yeah, so we've got 160 booked in for next year, and we've done 57 under COVID restrictions since 10th of July, when our restrictions in Queensland eased. So we're doing very well during hard times.
Yeah. And look, we're going to come to, and we will chat about Vic Park, and I definitely want to hear all about it. And I know other couples, particularly those in Queensland, will want to hear about it as well, looking for wedding venues. Let's just start with yourself first. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how long you've been in events and weddings, and yeah.
I've been doing events since I think I could talk, but I've officially been doing events and managing events for 20 years. And I've gone through every facet of the events industry, from bartending to dishy, to working on the floor, to closing shifts, to being a pokey manager, to weddings, and then obviously sales and events. So I've been at Victoria Park for just under 4 years now, and as I said, we do about 160 weddings a year, and we do about 1,200 corporate events a year. So we are busy and we love what we do, and we do it well. So I'm looking forward to sharing some of our tips.
Yeah, wow, 1,400 events that you manage a year. That's incredible. And it's great to look, you can obviously talk to everyone who works there, because you've pretty much done that role at some point, at time or another.
Yeah, I think having really strong relationships with your suppliers, and having a really good team of people around you helps, especially during these really, really difficult times.
Yeah. Were you doing weddings at other event spaces and venues before?
Yeah. It wasn't our primary business. It's not our primary business here either, but it is certainly a very profitable side of our business and a business part that we really enjoy doing. So yeah, before Victoria Park, I was at the RNA, the Brisbane Showgrounds, the home of the Ekka. So I was there for nearly 8 years, and I've been at a few other venues as well.
Fantastic. Well, tell us a little bit about what wedding ceremonies have been like with the
Sure.
restrictions.
Yeah, so I guess for you guys down in Victoria, you're just coming into where we were at in July. So it was really temperamental times. I guess what we did was we communicated regularly with our couples, and I would really encourage that. Even if you don't know all the answers, tell them the answers that you do know. Even repeat what your premier is saying out to them and let them know what you can do for them. We've just tried to make our brides and grooms, or our grooms and grooms, as stress-free as possible for them. So just laying it all out. We've done the COVID safe plan. We're going to get your COVID registry. For ceremonies, to answer your question, we would space one chair, a spot where a chair would be, and then another chair. So there's, a good half a metre between chairs, and we're just putting out half the chairs. And then we would ask our celebrants to really encourage that COVID safe practices, not embracing one another, elbow taps, heel taps, and just being respectful, especially of the elderly, and pre-registering. So for weddings, most of the time, you know who's coming to your wedding. So we had our COVID registry done, and then we had a manual one on the day that people could fill out if they were a last minute yes, or a replacement guest. So, and we also had QR codes, which really helps with queuing. There's nothing worse than running late to get to a wedding and then having to queue for a COVID registry and making the bridal party late. So there's a few things that we've implemented there.
Yeah. With those ceremonies and some of those working within the guidelines and restrictions, was there anything that the couple needed to prepare beforehand?
Oh, not really. Obviously, just the guest list. Everything else was on us as a venue. We would touch base with any suppliers that they had contracted, such as celebrants, florists, DJs, and make sure that they had a COVID safe plan and that they were compliant with our rules. And then we all worked in together to make sure their day was, as fabulous as it could be. So it was more just giving them the guidelines of what they can and can't do. And we tried to focus on what they can do because there were so many can'ts, and just keeping the conversation as positive as possible.
Yeah. Yeah. And what about wedding receptions? Because I imagine that, that goes for a lot longer. Tell us about how did you work within those restrictions, and maybe even some ideas of things that you implemented or you saw other suppliers bring some life.
Yeah, sure. I think the hardest part of the restrictions for us was when you weren't allowed to stand and drink or stand and eat. That was really difficult for families to comprehend. And so we had some great suppliers come up with some workarounds where, you sit down and then they did interactive things for your tables. And then instead of dancing, they had Zoolander walk-offs. So one or two people would get up and have a dance off, and some more wedding trivia in the audience. From our side of things, we didn't not give the bride and groom anything that they had booked. We just upped our level of service. So as a venue, we took a hit at the bottom line, I guess. So we upped our waiters. We ensured that we had tongs to serve canapes, so they still could have their canapes, and we'd just serve it to them seated. So there was a lot of back-end operational changes that we needed to do to ensure that our couples had their best day ever. And they did cost us, but we're so happy that we still did it. The feedback's just been so rewarding. These people are still saying it was the best day of their life, and they didn't even miss dancing. So it was really good.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine that not being able just to get up and have a drink and walk around and hug someone like that, those restrictions just feels inbuilt to have that connection with someone. So it's nice to hear that there are some things that, I like how, as a venue, you've chosen to take a bit of financial hit, but in
Yeah.
doing so, you've made sure the couples days really are the priority, and their experience of that is a great one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Uh, well, tell us about Vic Park. So I know that you've got multiple places in order for ceremonies to happen, and getting married, and different spots for receptions. Tell
Yeah.
us about it.
Oh, look, Victoria Park is a very, very iconic venue in Brisbane. We have 5 unique spaces for weddings and receptions, and we can cater for a wedding from 40 up to 400. So it's a really versatile space. One of the things that I meant to touch on before was about the communication with the couples. One of the things that I did in preparation for our conversation today was to look at how many times I communicated with couples during COVID, and it was twice a month. I sent them a communication personally, telling them what was happening currently, even if it wasn't much. This is what's currently happening. We're still here. We're here for you. We're answering phone calls. We're not at our desks. We're not allowed to be at our desks, but we are still here. And that confidence really stopped people cancelling. Some people still postponed, but we're able to retain a lot of business. And I would encourage people to really, listen to their suppliers and listen to their venues. And if they say they can do it, trust them and still have your day.
Yeah. I think that's really important. And I can't say that I communicated with as much with my couples, but there was multiple emails that went out, and I made sure to put a little video in there, just try and have that little bit of just like, I'm still here, I'm still alive. But yeah, that communication is crucial.
And we did a booking guarantee to encourage people to book. So if COVID was still a problem in September 2021, you can postpone it, no penalty. Those sorts of little clauses in contracts mean the world to people when they're putting a lot of their hard-earned money, in your faith. So it certainly helped us. And we reduced the amount we're asking for up front because we knew people weren't necessarily earning their full wage. So it's just those little things that I think really helps us come through.
Yep. And I think it builds a lot of trust as well, seeing that, a venue, and a venue definitely is, I would say, is the largest financial part of the day. So to have that trust and that guarantee with that, and sort of decreasing the amount that's needed to come on board, I can imagine that would have built a lot of trust, and that would have been really beneficial.
It's amazing for any brides and grooms listening. Don't get lost in these horrible Facebook groups that are telling you all the negatives of the industry. There's so many amazing venues and suppliers and vendors out there doing the right thing. So just try and, find someone that you trust and then get them to recommend. Do the referrals. Get the referrals from people you trust, and don't go down the rabbit hole of negativity.
No, definitely not. That doesn't help. If you surround yourself with people who are just looking at the negative, that's all you're going to be thinking about. Now, I imagine you would have your own recommended supplier list as well as a venue.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. Our suppliers have been incredible. We've actually continued to do showcases throughout this period. So we've done 3 wedding showcases. We did an open day and we did hour intervals. So we allowed 100 COVID guests for the first hour across all of our venues. And then we did the next hour and then the next hour. And people were so appreciative that they could still have an open day experience with restrictions. And we did menu tastings as well. Once again, clients really appreciative, customers really appreciative, suppliers really appreciative because they were locking in customers as well. So I think can somehow still fake it during these hard times. It certainly reaps the rewards.
Yeah, definitely. So tell us, how long has Vic Park been running?
Oh gosh, I think 20 years, and we're just coming up to some really big changes here. The Lord Mayor's about to announce, we just had our election, so we're just waiting on where money's sitting and how much money's left in the kitty after that little thing called COVID-19. So our extended golf course here, the 18 holes, is actually closing on the 30th of June, and then it's being turned into public parklands for the general public. And then we're hopefully going to be expanding some of our facilities. So hopefully building a few new wedding venues, a few new beautiful arbors, and purpose-built facilities for the Brisbane general public to come and use.
Yeah, that's great. And did you mention that Vic Park has a few different venues within it? Like, is there a few different business areas within it?
So the area I'm in is the function and events team, and then we have our bistro, which is extremely popular, especially for families on the weekend. We do jumping castles, free jumping castles, kids playground, and then we have our golf and our golfing facilities, the driving bays and the putt has been insane during COVID. People have got that recreational sport down packed.
Yeah.
So launched our Christmas putt, and we've got 13,000 people booked to come through the doors over the next 4 weeks for our putt, my area, which I was just talking about. So we're extremely busy here, but we love what we do and we're very versatile. So you'll see somebody walking around in golf gear and someone in a black tie gown. So
sure.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on at Vic Park.
There's a lot going on.
So I imagine there's multiple events being held almost daily.
Yeah. We would do on an average day about 5 events.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Right. And you have a team of 9, you mentioned?
Yes, there's 9 in my team. We have 4 planners and 3 in sales, and then an event assistant as well. So yeah, they're very busy.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Is there anything else about Vic Park you'd like to share?
Oh, look, it's just one of those beautiful venues. You feel like home when you come here. We've got 2 full-time gardeners and the gardens are impeccable. You walk through, we've got herb gardens, we've got sustainable gardens. Our chefs pick, the vegetables and the herbs from the gardens, put it in our produce. We try to only use locally sourced Queensland products for all of our meals. So, we're trying to, ease the footprint that we're leaving as much as possible. And it's a really lovely place to be daily and to work. So we love it here.
Why do you believe couples choose Vic Park? Like, what is it about Vic Park?
Sure. So I think we're very transparent, and the way that I sell it is we're a one-stop shop, but the figure that we put in our proposal, you can come and have your wedding for that figure. You don't need to add $5 for a centerpiece, and $5 for a cushion, and $5 for this. There's no additional fees. Our fee includes everything. And it's really comforting to couples, especially those on a budget, to know that that's there. Our food quality is also exceptional, and that's why I host so many menu tastings a year, because I think if you come and eat the food, then it's a very simple decision, and it's picture perfect. We've got the beautiful city views behind you, free parking, and we're a stone throw from the city, so it's easy for people to get to.
Yeah I imagine that's a huge win, particularly for couples who've got family coming interstate. Sometimes traveling to a venue can get a bit tricky. So if I imagine it's easy as a bus ride, or even it's taxi or an Uber.
Yeah, absolutely. Lots of cars have sleepovers here.
I bet they do. They realise
that they're having too much fun, and then the next day we go, that wedding was a hit.
Well, look, the truth is, if they have a nice little sleepover in the car, if they've thought ahead, they'll have their golf sticks ready, and they'll be at clubs. They'll be ready to have a game.
No people, just the cars.
Well, with so much experience. Sorry, it sort of broke up a bit. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Sorry, say that again. I missed you. You go.
I was just going to say, with so much experience in doing events and doing weddings, what do you wish couples knew?
What do I wish couples knew? I think that they need to trust us more. I feel as though I hear my planners on the phone answering the same question to the same couple every week. There just needs to be a little bit of trust there, and know that we're professionals at what we do, and we do it so often that they should have a little more faith in the system and the product that they've purchased. So I mean, I think we would all like that. And they, people calling. I think if there's an announcement in the government, we're hearing about it the minute you've heard about it. We don't have a magic hotline. And so if you're going to call me 1 minute after an announcement's made and ask me what our plans are, I'm going to say to you, I might need an hour or so to work out how we're going to implement these changes. So
Sure.
I wish they would just consider those things as well. But I understand they're excited and it's their big day. And so we're very mindful of it as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I think in the wedding industry, it's probably something we'll always see in different couples. Most couples get married once, and trying to get this as perfect as possible is definitely on top of their priority list. And I do hear that from a lot of suppliers is let's have this trust. We do this throughout. This is our job. We do this every year, and having that trust with us, we'll make sure we do everything we can do to make sure you have an incredible day.
And listen, if we've recommended you book a certain supplier, book them. I had a couple that I booked during COVID, and they went and found all these quotes, and they came back to me and said, the DJ can't do this, and the celebrant won't do this, and this person won't do this. And I said, here are the people I trust. Call them. 4 months later, they finally called them. They were so happy because they had proper COVID safe plans. So, listen to people that are doing what they're doing and doing it well, and listen to who they're going to recommend, because they're not going to give you a bum steer.
Yeah. And what would be your best advice for couples?
I think always make sure that you read your contract. Read your contracts. I feel for people that are losing money during these times, especially people that have, integral parts of their family overseas, and they can't have their wedding without them. That you need to be able to change your wedding date. So I think it's really important that you have contracts that are flexible, and that's with postponement. I'm not encouraging people to cancel. I'm just saying postpone and keep the money in the industry, keep your dreams alive, and postpone to a date when your family can attend. But, make sure that you have the ability to postpone without penalty if it is due to, COVID-19. So that's something that I think a lot of people haven't really put a lot of thought into, especially suppliers and venues. They haven't redone their contracts. So if you want to cancel because a guest can't come, you're up for cancellation fees, and that can be quite extensive. So I would really encourage people to read their contracts and negotiate a COVID clause especially if you've got overseas guests.
Yeah.
Guests from Victoria.
Yeah, am I right? It's all right. They'll let us out soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My brother's getting married in December, and he's been touching base with me every week going, Jessie, what's happening? Can I dance yet? Can I do this yet? And I was so thrilled to be able to call him the other day and say, mate, you can dance. And he was just so happy. So,
yep.
Yeah.
How many can you have on the dance floor now?
We're up to 200 as of 4 p.m. Yeah. So we're very excited about that. Yeah.
That's great.
And the DJs are excited because they've been DJing to people sitting in their chairs having a boogie.
Yeah. It's not. It's not quite the same as DJing to a dance floor, I imagine.
Yeah. So we're back. As of 4 p.m. yesterday, we can have 200 people on a dance floor, and we're back to one person per 2 square meters. And for our venues, that's how we that's our business model. So we're back to our full capacities.
Fantastic. Jessie, thank you so much for sharing with us, what weddings have been like up in Queensland. I know it's going to help a lot of couples who are potentially or will face restrictions with their own weddings. So thank you for sharing about that. And of course, if you are thinking of having a wedding in Queensland, whether you live there or you're going there because your family's there, definitely check out Vic Park.
Yes, please do. Give me a call. All of our details are on the website, and you can meet the team. So you can just click on me and it will come straight through.
Sounds great. Well, thank you so much, Jessie. And thank you everyone for joining us today on the episode. Have a great week. Bye.
Bye.